Here's the strange thing about police work. You'll have a lot of cops make their lateral movements with inside the world. Very seldomly is it for an advancement in pay. When you're brand new, it's easier.
Sure.
You're brand new. But I know guys with 6, 7 years on, they transfer to another department and they take a huge pay cut.
This is gonna hurt. It's time for the Suffering Podcast.
There are 3 sides to every story: yours, theirs, and the truth. The truth usually lies somewhere in between and is never as clear-cut as it may be portrayed. Unless you were there, the reality may be different than the narrative in front of your eyes. Approach each situation with an air of caution. Reserve your judgment until you know the totality of the circumstances. That education may solidify your opinion or change your mind completely. The presentation of the truth can be an optical illusion. It may be as concrete as the air we breathe or the love in our hearts. Information may just free you from the chains of doubt. I'm Kevin Donaldson here with Mike Falaise, and welcome to the Suffering Podcast. If you're a fan of overcoming adversity and overcoming suffering, then we're for you, because that's what we do here and that's the stories that we highlight. So do me a favor, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, please comment, ring the bell so you can get notified of all of our new content, and now you can join. Follow us on all social media so you can find out what we're up to. On this episode of the Suffering Podcast, we welcome in Dom Lilo to discuss the suffering of excessive force. It's going to be a little tough one.
It's going to be a rough one,
yeah.
But I think we can get through it.
Yeah, but thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Before we get into anything, let's throw a big shout out to our marquee sponsor. That's Toyota of Hackensack. We don't trust anybody as police, but we do trust them. So if you're looking for a car, go to toyotahackensack.com. They know what they're doing. Dom, each week we take a question from our audience. This week's question comes from Philip. Did you write this one?
No, I didn't.
Philip.ma.butthole. Philip my butthole.
That is like
Jesus Christ.
That is like right up your alley.
Oh my gosh.
Who wrote that, Nick?
I don't know. But it's Philip.
Is he related to Beavis?
I'll tell you what, I didn't even read it. I just wrote it.
Right.
What gets you the angriest? Dom, you're our guest tonight. I'm going to pass this one off to you. What do you think? What gets you the angriest?
I mean, from something, stupidity.
Stupidity. It's not bad.
Stupidity really does.
Mike, what do you think?
You know what? Aside from traffic in this area,
In your Jeep?
my Jeep, that too, my Jeep. The thing that gets me angry is fake people. And I don't like when I am what you see, whether you like it or not. I'm not going to change for anybody. I hate people who try to be fake. It just that bothers the hell out of me. That gets me nasty angry.
You know, that's a hard thing to perpetuate when somebody is phony, because their true self always bleeds through in one way or another.
Yeah, but it takes a long time to figure out that they're fake. So you know what I'm saying? You meet someone, you become like kind of new friends, and you think that's the person that you're being a friend with. And then about a month down the road,
True colors come out.
you realize their true colors.
It's like a relationship after 3 months.
Yeah, exactly. Or marriage after 25 years. But go ahead, Kev.
So I have to say, because it's something that it carries on to every aspect of my life, and that's laziness. So ignorance gets me aggravated, but I can educate ignorance. Laziness is like a virus. Laziness is like a disease, and it can infect everybody around you. You got one, just take football, for instance. You got one lazy kid on the field, and he is a popular kid. Well, guess what? He is going to infect everybody else with the laziness. So, from my opinion, when you see something that's somebody that's lazy, you better cut it off really quick, because it's like a cancer, and it just keeps growing and growing. And before you know it, it's out of control.
It infects everybody else.
You're right.
Yeah.
So that's, there's a lot of stuff that pisses me off, though.
Oh, the list goes on and on, of course. Same with me.
Well, you know what pisses me off? Philip my butthole. I mean, that kind of pissed me off.
That is one of the greatest,
Yeah, I know.
greatest handles ever.
I just wrote it. I didn't really say it. Yeah.
I swear to God, I was pulling them, and I just wrote, okay.
Yeah, you were pulling it, and you read Philip my butthole.
The dots screwed me up, but thank you very much, Philip, for sending that one in. And keep sending in your questions. We will try to get them.
Could you
on the
imagine
air.
going through life with the last name of my butthole?
I doubt that's his real name, but I got to tell you what, that's a $5 handle right there. Oh God. The anal.
You could have just told me in my headphones.
The anal retentive producer.
So now we'll start again. And if you notice, my cord is now fixed in the right direction.
So, Philip, thank you very much for sending in your question. Keep sending in your questions, and we will try to get them on the air. So, Dom, this is going to be a really tough one for us. We always hate it when a brother in blue falls. Yes. Some people cheer it.
Yeah.
Some people walk away from it.
There's a certain sector of society that wait for you. What we used to call stepping on your dick.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Certain sector of people in society wait for you. Wait for a cop to step on their dick. And
Obvious.
But the one thing about Mike and I is we will give everybody the opportunity to say their truth, to say their perspective of it, because unless we weren't there during your bad times, we don't know what happened. Right. We know what we read, but other than that, you know, it's just it's somebody else's opinion of what went through. So before we get into that, though, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about yourself?
Well, right now I'm 53 years old, still living in Bayonne, New Jersey.
Again, I'm the oldest guy in the studio.
With Tom Schmittler?
Schmitley.
Yes.
Yes.
I know him,
You
yeah.
know Schmitty?
Yes, I do.
So,
He just retired, I believe.
Well, retired's a strong word. Tom is a good.
We can't say that. We can't say that other bad R word.
We've actually had his track message up on the air when we had Tom in here. Yeah, Tom Schmitty's but Schmitty's on the road to recovery. So
Yes,
he's picking his life back up.
Great
The whole
guy.
family, unfortunately.
Schmitty's a great guy.
Known him for years. Went to school
Love
with
him
him.
to death.
His great, when we had him in here, his greatest line ever. I was like, "Hey, Schmitty, I love you, man. I want you to." He goes, "What are you, fag?" That's what he says. He actually said that word, and I go. In the back of my head, I'm like, oh, man. Oh.
Demonetized.
Yeah, sure. So you live in Bayonne, New Jersey with the Chuck Wepner.
Yes.
Not-
leader.
Vito Enterfermo. I was in Bayonne the other day. We went to San Vito
Okay.
over on the Boulevard.
Reached out.
Love San Vito.
Yeah.
So how'd you grew up there your whole life?
So grew up there. I actually came from Jersey City, moved to Bayonne. I think I was 12 years old. My parents went to high school, grammar school, all of that. I was in the 20s. A lot of my friends were becoming cops or corrections officers. At the time I was a car salesman. Like, take the test.
Car salesman.
Car salesman,
Is that
that's-
the entranceway into law enforcement?
Mine was car salesman was a segue job for me.
So I took the test.
Yeah.
Became a Hudson County corrections officer.
Because at the time, they sell a good product. Hey, you get your benefits paid
Absolutely.
for. You got a pension.
Can't go wrong.
You're not going to get rich, but you're going to make an okay living.
Absolutely.
Right, yeah.
Now, mind you, I started back in 97.
Oh, yeah.
So things were a lot different. As
Your top salaries were probably hovering in the neighborhood of $55,000.
I was in the academy for Hudson County sheriffs in Essex.
That's where I went through.
I was making $20,000 plus.
Huh. Jeez, don't spend that all in one place.
No.
That $1,000 check
And I'll
every
tell
2
you,
weeks.
And you say what pisses you off? We were getting pepper sprayed. I'll never forget the instructor. God rest his soul, he took his life not too long ago also. He started saying something about Hudson County hoodlum. I got pepper sprayed. I think I just didn't even feel it. We just went at it.
Yeah,
you get that. You get that adrenaline dump. Yeah,
I started in '96 making $24,000 a year.
got it. I guess it wasn't too bad. I thought it was. So again, I wasn't a car sale. I left being a car salesman. I went to another job, and I went from a salary of $80,000 down to $33,000 in 2001. But I looked at the long game. Okay, that's what all police officers do. Yes, we take this job for really crap starting pay, but we're playing the long game.
Yes.
Well, like you said, we don't get into this job to be rich.
No.
We get into it because of the love of it.
You do it for not only that, but literally to give something back.
Yep, exactly.
Like I grew up, I wanted to give back. Like a lot of guys were moving out of town. I stayed there. I had no problem running into the people I locked up. People I had problems with, or domestic problems. I had no problem. Like, hey, you okay? What's going on?
It kind of connects you to the fabric of the society.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You become a pillar of society.
Right. Right.
And that's what I always, like I said, I started off with the sheriff's department in '96, and I didn't have a home base. You know, and it's just one day you're up in Mawa, one day you're in Franklin Lakes, one day you're in Cliffside. You know, I wanted a place to call home.
Yeah.
You know, and
Correct.
I transferred down to Lyndhurst, and I had a home base, and it was the best move I ever made.
But going back, like you said, so I started in corrections, making $19,000.
Yeah.
I got a raise when I went to the sheriff's. And literally year to date, the following year, got picked up by Bayonne, jumped to $40,000.
Isn't that crazy the way that works, the lateral movement? 'Cause,
Exactly.
You know, well, so here's the strange thing about police work. You'll have a lot of cops make their lateral movements with inside the world. Very seldomly is it for an advancement in pay. When you're brand new, it's easier.
Sure.
You're brand new. But I know guys with 6, 7 years on, they transfer to another department and they take a huge pay cut.
Yeah, I'm sure there's got to be reasons behind it why.
Well, so there was I was going to make a transfer to East Hanover.
Okay.
Okay, and if I was playing the long game, it was a good move, but I couldn't do it at the time because I was taking a $20,000 a year pay cut in order to do it because they started everybody at step one, and I was going through some financial difficulties at the time, and I couldn't do it. But you know, when you're young and you're untethered,
Right.
it's very easy.
I was a year away from getting a top pay with the sheriff's department, and I transferred to Lyndhurst.
Yeah,
and they dropped me down like step 3. Married, kid,
Right.
You know. You had to bust your ass to make ends meet.
That's funny you said about the lateral because we had guys from Jersey City come to Bayonne.
yeah. That's a good move, by the way.
It's a very good move, yes. Yeah.
That's probably the most corrupt city, and it's always been the most corrupt city in.
The crime is just not corrupt, just the crime itself.
So I was watching Boardwalk Empire, and Nucky Johnson or Thompson, whatever whatever they called him in the show. But yeah, but it's Thompson. His real name? No, it's not Bumpy. He was the black section. That's Nucky Thompson. So his real name was Enoch Johnson. He's buried in Summers Point, New Jersey. I know exactly where he's buried. I know where his tombstone is. So he would host the Jersey City mayor coming down, and even in the show, it's paying him. Like Jersey City ran everything, so it's always been that way in there.
Listen, Bayonne wasn't that far behind.
Hudson County politics.
The armpit of New Jersey.
Yeah, it's crazy. But so you went to Essex County Police Academy, which means you qualified in Caldwell in the outdoor range. You were doing lean and rest in the parking lot. Now that they put an indoor range back there, there's not as much room for lean and rest.
I don't know what they have there now.
Yeah, there's an outdoor range that they put in there. I want to say, God, it's 15 years ago, probably.
Wow.
But you know that old outdoor range, you qualified in rain, sleet, or snow.
That's right. Yep.
And always catching the dead lead in the berm,
kicking you back.
You kicking you back.
Yeah, back from the sand.
Yeah.
You know, you're up at the 5-yard line or a 1-yard line doing weapons retention. Like I'm hit, I'm down.
Well, you know, it's funny too because all you hear is like,
Yeah.
So you got through Essex, and so where did you start? Did you start in corrections?
Started in corrections.
You were in corrections. You didn't transfer while you were in the academy.
No. Did corrections. Went to Bergen County for corrections. Left, went to Hudson County Sheriff's, went to Essex County Sheriff's, the Academy for Sheriffs there. That's when the same state test, I had to say high score, picked me up and went to Bayonne.
So did you work any time in Hudson County Sheriff?
For literally 1 year.
So at least you didn't have to go through an academy
No,
again.
thankfully no. They picked everything up. Yeah, it was great.
I know guys who've gone 3-4 academies.
Oh, yeah.
You're out of your
God bless
mind,
them.
man. It just doesn't sound like fun to me.
It's a lot.
Yeah. So
And as you get older, who wants to do that again?
So
I turned 30 in the academy. I was one of the old school guys in there.
I was lucky. I was 26 when I was in the academy, and I was one of the older guys, which was crazy to me. I'm 26 years old. I don't understand this. You know, when they make the older guys the squad leaders because they think that we have some sort of authority.
Yeah.
Little they know that I used to go in the stalls and this is.
Here we go.
Yeah, so in the stalls,
Statute of limitations is over. You're good.
they were giving us at first. I walked in, they were giving us our piss test, and they stand right behind you when you go up to the urinals. And I remember it was a guy named Pete. I won't say Pete's last name. He was Essex County Sheriff, and I go. And he's watching me pee. I'm like, so what do you think? Is it any good? How's it compare to the other guys? I went through a lot of Irvington guys. I know I didn't compare the way they did. But the next one was there was a handicapped stall in there, and it was just wide enough so you could put your arms like this.
Right.
And take like a 20-minute nap.
Okay.
With your pants at your ankles. There's a lot of fun in the academy. It's not.
There is. I have to tell you, my CO, great man, Sergeant Hogan from Irvington.
Oh, Kenny Hogan. Yeah.
Kenny Hogan. He's the man. I love him. He's one of the reasons why I also bounced back from everything that took place.
He's got to get a new skull because it's been shot twice.
Yeah, exactly, yes. He just had his party not too long ago. Shot in the head.
Shot in the head party? Yeah.
But he said it the best. He goes, enjoy this because it's going to be the best 6 months of your career.
Oh, so it was.
And you want to know something?
It was.
Absolutely correct.
My time in the academy, my 6 months in the academy, feels like it lasted longer than my 20-year career. It really did.
I'm sure you guys also had some crazy guys when we were in the academy. Oh, my God.
But we were scared to death because our drill instructor was a Montclair cop who was very serious. He was a Force Recon Marine, very, very serious. So, you know.
That's we had it. We had West Orange guy, and I think the director was Wilkes at the time.
Wilkes.
But the academy is some of your best experience in law enforcement.
Yes.
And then it's fun when you get out and you have to go back to the academy for a class or something.
Right.
And you see one of your recruits in there. Here's the best one. So I go in there, and it was a guy named Hakeem Sims. He was director of Orange for a while. But he was doing undercover narcotics, so he had long dreads. And I go, hey, Hawk, you see our guy over there? Yeah, he used to be a male dancer. And then I walked out, and that was it. I didn't say another word. 6 months later, I'm in the gym with a retired Hoboken cop whose son was in that same academy. He goes, yeah, the guy from Roseland. The drill keeps saying, well, you used to be a dancer. Get up on the table and start dancing. And that little ping of pride came in you going, yeah, I did this one right. I did this right. That was the best experience.
That's great.
So what were you doing when you got out of the academy? When you got into Bayonne, or did you just get assigned right to patrol?
Yeah, I got assigned to patrol. Yeah, I went to Midnights.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You anything good?
It wasn't too bad. It was actually good. I was with the first few months. I think it was 6 months. You worked with a senior officer. Great guy.
It's like the FTO program.
He was old school. He was from the old school regime.
Did you actually have an FTO in place? Because my department did not. Whenever they thought you were ready.
Yeah.
They had like the guys that had over 20 years, like 10, 15 years. Like they put you with seasoned men.
Which can be good and bad.
But most of them were dinosaurs who didn't want to do anything and sleep on midnight.
But Kevin, you hit the nail on the head. It could be good and bad.
Yeah. Correct.
I had an old school guy where we did things old school.
Me too.
Yep.
I was grateful for that. I wasn't grateful for it while I was doing it. As grateful, like 10 years down the road, I'm like, oh, this is
right.
Thank God. And the guy who was my mentor, I still keep in touch with. I'm still friends with, because I'll never forget him. And I'm going to throw big shout out to him. His name's Steve Sarjace.
Here we go. We said we're not going to bring up names.
I'm going to say Steve Sarjace because I'm so proud of that man. I love that man.
Well, in a positive way, of course, you can pick up a name.
He's a 22-year veteran at the time, and I'm a rookie coming out of the academy, and of course, we want to go save the world. 22-year veteran. He's tired.
Right.
So I remember him looking at me, knowing that I'm new, and go, "Hey," he's like, "How you feel? Did you get some sleep today?" And I was like, "Yeah, I feel pretty good." You don't want to take this job to go bed down somewhere. So he goes, "If you feel good and you want to work, let's work."
Yeah.
He goes, "If you're tired and you want to go bed down, I'm up for that too."
It usually started off with, "Hey, kid."
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
But 30 years old coming out of the academy, and they're calling me kid.
But he also said something to me that I'll never, ever, ever forget. While I was fresh coming out of the academy, I was very experienced in book knowledge of the police world. He was very experienced with the street knowledge of the police. So in many ways, and this is why I don't like that term rookie, in many ways, people coming out of the police academy have more information inside their head than the guys with 20 years on. They just don't have the practical knowledge.
Nowadays, yes.
They don't have the practical knowledge.
Correct.
And that's where the two worlds can, and if they can find a way to work together, it increases the department.
I agree with you, Ken, but that's how policing now is heading towards. It's been like that for the past 10 plus years.
We have more. You have a lot more academics coming in.
It's a lot of academics. That street smart has actually gone away.
Because they require a college education now. So you're getting the book smart college people now.
Well, I also see it in the town I work in. I work with the police a lot. The salaries are so damn high. So you go to I go to a lot of engineering classes at Rutgers.
Okay.
Go to an engineering classes and you will see the kids look like a stiff wind's going to blow them over because their parents push them into engineering because they know engineering is going to pay well. But when we got on, when all of us got on, more so when you guys got on, you took this job for a love of a job like we were talking about earlier. Now the salaries are so high where parents are saying, "Hey, kid, why don't you exactly go to police work? You're going to make a lot of money." So I think that's the difference, the shift to
agree.
me.
I agree.
And you're going to get good benefits, which isn't
Right.
the case anymore.
Yeah.
Well, it's changed now. Hasn't that changed, I believe, now?
Yeah, yeah.
You have to do 30 years or something like that now?
That's crazy. And that's going to change too, because then you're going to have 65-year-old men walking the beat.
Exactly. And do you want that serving your community?
No,
You can't.
You're going to be old and grizzled, and you're going to be pissed off at those that came before you because they got out in 25 if they did their full term. But, you know, police work is a grind. It's not a business.
It's very scary now.